Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our Making Accessible Apps for Apple Platforms tutorial series, and in this particular video we're going to be taking a look at how we can create input labels for voice control in AppKit, UIKit, and SwiftUI. Now this is relatively straightforward on all technologies for all platforms. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how this is supposed to work. Okay, so let's go ahead first and take a look at how we can do this in SwiftUI. So in SwiftUI, what we have to start with is, let's go ahead and run the code here in Xcode. So this is what we have for our SwiftUI application. We have some H stacks and a V stack. Each H stack is set as its own accessibility element, and it is interpreted as a button. We can click each of these, and the yellow view right there will change to the different colors. So I can say to make it orange, and now it's orange. I can say make it teal, and now it's teal. I can make it mint, now it's mint. I can say make it indigo, and now it's indigo. So that's how this is. So that's how this works this far. This is also everything is enclosed within a split view. But that's kind of where we're starting at. So let's kind of talk about how we can make this a little bit more pleasant of an experience for our users who use voice control to control their computers, right? So as it stands right now, with voice control, the user would have to say, click set to indigo or set to teal or whatever, along with the word click. However, the problem is maybe we don't want them to have to do something as verbose as that. Maybe we want them to simply be able to say click teal or click mint or something, and then have it perform the action. That is where AccessibilityInputLabels come in. So if we go back into Xcode, we can add AccessibilityInputLabels using the .accessibilityInputLabels modifier. Now this takes in an array of text views. And right now, with this example, we don't need multiple labels. We can have just one and it will be just fine. But maybe you want the user to be able to say, for example, add in multiple ways. So you could say click add or click create, stuff like that. To be able to activate the same command, but with different wording. So we're going to say text teal. Like that. And so now all the user will have to say to activate our button for setting the view to teal is something like click teal or tap teal. All right, so let's go ahead and add these accessibility input labels to the rest of our H stacks here. We'll say accessibility input labels. Let's see, this is going to be orange. we'll say text orange, like that. This one will be for mint. So dot accessibility input labels text mint and then this one will be for indigo, so dot accessibility input labels, so text, and it'll be indigo, like that. All right. So now let's go ahead and save this code. I'm gonna quickly turn on voice control on my phone because that's what we're gonna use here to we're gonna use that to demonstrate how this works. Well, actually, wait, no, the split view doesn't work on the phone. That's right. So we'll just have to run it on the Mac. It's fine. It'll be fine. Oh. My apologies. That was my multivitamins. All right. There we go. So here we are. Now let's turn on voice control. We need system settings. Let's say voice control. Let's see. Here we go, voice control. Let's go ahead and turn this on. All right. All right. Okay. Click indigo. Click teal. Click orange. Click mint. Click voice control. Turn off voice control. All right. So you can see that that's kind of how that is supposed to work here. We can stop listening there. There we go. We'll turn off voice control. So that pretty much is how we can use voice control, right? To go in and that's kind of how we can use voice control in order to control our application using input labels. And that's great and all. But how do we do that in UIKit? So let's go ahead and go into our UIKit project. I want UIKit. All right. All right.
10:57 a.m. 2 notifications. Batteries.
All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run this on my phone here, and then we're going to actually see what this looks like. I want to screen mirror this for you, but I also want to turn on voice control when I do it. So this has got to do its thing here. All right.
Screen mirroring button.
Screen mirroring.
Roku Premiere button. Roku Premiere button. Joshua's Mac Mini button.
All right.
Joshua's Mac Mini.
So
In progress. Screen mirroring button.
So on iOS, this is what our application is going to look like. So you can see we have a yellow view that takes up about a quarter of our safe area. And then we have 4 buttons for turning each of these, by turning the view into their respective colors.
Set to indigo button.
So we can say indigo,
Set to orange button.
orange,
Set to teal button.
teal,
Set to mint button.
mint,
Set to mint.
right? All that stuff. And all that's great. However, we want to, much like we did with SwiftUI, allow the user to use voice control to tap these buttons in a little bit more of an efficient manner. So what we can do is inside of our main view controller here, where is that? All right, we're almost there. All right. So let's go above where we're adding all of our subviews. That's fine. We'll just okay, Xcode. That's fine. We're good. All right. So now, how do we add accessibility input labels to a UIKit view? Well, we can do this by saying, let's say, teal button dot accessibility input labels. Accessibility user input labels. And if we take a look at the documentation, it's an array of strings. And we can set that equal to an array of strings. We'll say this one will be teal. And then we'll say orange button dot accessibility user input labels equals an array of strings orange. Indigo button dot accessibility user input labels is equal to an array of strings with indigo inside of it. And then below our indigo button, we can say mint button dot accessibility user input labels equals, again, an array of strings with mint inside of that as a string. All right. Now we can go ahead and run our code here.
11:02 a.m. 11:02 a.m.
We're unlocking my phone here. All right, we gotta let it do its thing.
Control center. Edit. Selected. Accessibility short. Dark mode. Switch button. Screen recording. Selected. Low power mode. Screen mirroring. Button.
Okay, screen mirroring.
Screen mirroring. Heading. LG with OS TV offset 32 inches TCL road. Screen mirroring. Heading. Screen 32. LG with Joshua's Mac Mini. Button.
I want on my Mac here. All right, here we are. I'm going to plug in my phone here real quick.
Screen mirroring. Button. Double tap and hold to show more control.
All right. So here we are inside of our application. I'm going to turn on voice control as soon as it finishes loading, that is.
Set to in. Button.
All right. Turn on voice control.
Okay. Voice control is now on.
All right. So now that it's turned on, tap teal, tap indigo, tap orange, tap mint, tap teal, tap orange, tap indigo, tap mint. Turn off voice control.
Okay. Voice control is now off.
All right. So with that, that is how voice control works with our, that's how voice control works on iOS, and how we can add our own custom user input labels that way. All right. So the last platform that we need to know how to use these on is AppKit for the Mac. So let's go ahead and go into our AppKit application here. And here we have a similar story with our application. Let's run this. So here's what it looks like. We have a 200 by 200 point view in the center of our window with 4 buttons along the top. Nothing too fancy. When we tap one of them, or when we click one of them, they will change, and all of that. Okay, phone, don't be doing that now. All right. So with that, that's kind of where we're starting with our Mac app. If we go into our configure method here, we can go above where we're adding our views as subviews. Here, we want to do something like teal button dot set accessibility user input labels. And then in here is where we pass in an array of strings. Here we'll say teal. Then we'll say orange button dot set accessibility user input labels where we'll have orange in there. We'll have indigo button dot set accessibility user input labels. And inside of that array, we'll have indigo. And then finally, mint button dot set accessibility user input labels. We'll have mint in string as a string in there. All right, we'll go ahead and save this. We'll run our code again. Here's our application. We will. All right, so let's go ahead and open settings again. Voice control. Go into accessibility. Okay, voice control. Here we can go ahead and turn voice control on. Click orange. Click indigo. Click mint. Click teal. Click orange. Click teal. Click mint. Click orange. Click indigo. All right, and so now that we have voice control turned off, you can see that the user input labels do in fact work. All right, so that pretty much does it for this video on how we can add voice control input labels to our macOS, iOS, and cross-platform applications. Thank you all so very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.